Picture this. Your wife keeps talking about a gift you supposedly bought for your daughter last Christmas. She describes the beautiful jewelry in detail, but you can't recall ever making that purchase. To make matters worse, family members keep hinting you should see a doctor, yet you have no idea why. It's confusing, maybe even a little frightening. This could be what it feels like to live with Alzheimer's disease. And often, the signs start far more subtly than we'd ever imagine. Anyway, I almost forgot. Welcome to NeuroPerformanceLab, your premier destination for science-based insights into brain health, cognitive enhancement, and mental well-being. But let's get back to the video before I forget something again. Have you ever wondered what distinguishes Alzheimer's disease from dementia, or how early signs might point to cognitive decline? If so, you're not alone. Many people mistake the subtle symptoms of Alzheimer's for normal aging or dismiss dementia as an inevitable part of growing older. But recognizing these signs early can make all the difference in seeking treatment and potentially slowing the disease's progression. In this video, we'll explore the differences between dementia and Alzheimer's disease, early signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, and simple strategies to reduce your risk. What's the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's disease? Dementia is a clinical syndrome, not a single disease. It describes a decline in cognitive functions like memory, reasoning, and communication that interferes with daily life. Alzheimer's disease, AD, is the most common cause of dementia, involving specific changes in the brain, such as amyloid plaques and tau tangles. You can think of dementia as an umbrella term that also includes vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, and frontotemporal dementia. What sets Alzheimer's apart is its distinct progression and pathology, often starting years before obvious symptoms appear. Over time, it leads to noticeable memory lapses, personality changes, and difficulty performing everyday tasks. Now let's talk about some key indicators we look for when assessing potential Alzheimer's disease. Keep in mind that not everyone experiences these in the same way or in the same order, but if you or someone you know exhibits a few of these, it's worth discussing with a healthcare professional. Memory loss that disrupts daily life is more than just occasionally forgetting where you left your keys. We're talking about consistently forgetting recent events, important dates, or even things like whether you ate breakfast. You might also find it increasingly difficult to follow conversations, losing track of what someone just said, or struggle to remember the last few paragraphs of a book you're reading, leading you to reread them multiple times. Over time, these lapses often become more frequent and disruptive, making daily tasks progressively harder to manage without support. For example, repeating questions multiple times or relying heavily on notes for tasks you once did with ease. This can feel uncomfortable and confusing. Difficulty planning or solving problems is another sign. You might notice someone struggling with tasks that were once second nature, like balancing their checkbook, cooking a favorite recipe, or following simple instructions. For example, they may get halfway through making dinner and forget an essential step, like adding salt to the sauce, only to discover it's far too bland when it's too late. Or they might put a pot of soup on the stove, forgetting to turn off the burner, and then wonder why it's burning after a while. Simple, everyday tasks that they once did with ease can suddenly feel overwhelming and confusing. Or they might struggle with smaller decisions, like picking out the right ingredients in the store, or forgetting how to operate familiar household appliances, losing confidence in their ability to manage their own space. This often points to changes in executive function, which is managed by the prefrontal cortex. Getting lost in familiar places is another concerning sign. Maybe you used to drive to the grocery store without a second thought, but suddenly you can't recall the route. Or you find yourself in your own neighborhood feeling disoriented. This can suggest early spatial and navigation impairments in the brain. Language problems can be as simple as searching for words more frequently or substituting unusual phrases. For instance, you might call a wristwatch a hand clock or refer to tomato sauce as that red stuff for pasta. You could also find yourself suddenly trailing off during a conversation, unable to remember what you were just talking about, and feeling embarrassed or frustrated as a result. Lack of awareness, or anosognosia, is when some people genuinely don't realize their memory lapses or confusion are out of the ordinary. For example, a parent might forget entire family conversations and feel deeply offended when a child gently points it out. From their perspective, they remember everything just fine, so they insist nothing is wrong. This denial can spark emotional conflicts within families, especially when loved ones urge a medical checkup and the individual refuses, convinced they're perfectly healthy. Social withdrawal is common for someone with early Alzheimer's. They might avoid group settings or conversations, possibly because they feel overwhelmed or embarrassed by their forgetfulness. Ironically, withdrawing socially can accelerate cognitive decline over time. Mood and personality changes can be quite telling. Irritability, anxiety, or even sudden outbursts might be more than just mood swings. They can signal underlying brain changes. The scientific community refers to these shifts as behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia or BPSD, which sometimes can emerge before noticeable memory deficits. Hallucinations and delusions may also develop, particularly in certain types of dementia, like dementia with Lewy bodies, where vivid visual hallucinations are often among the earliest and most telling signs. Apraxia, or difficulty with learned movements, is another significant sign. Over time, Alzheimer's can make it hard for a person to perform once familiar tasks, a condition known as apraxia or dyspraxia. At first, it may only show up during special tests, like asking someone to pretend to comb their hair without actually holding a comb. While that might sound minor, it can progress to bigger challenges. Suddenly forgetting how to dress, use utensils at mealtime, or follow a favorite recipe's steps in the kitchen. This loss of motor planning can be heartbreaking for families to witness, as it gradually increases day-to-day dependency in the moderate to severe stages of the disease. Motor signs are another critical aspect to be aware of. During the early phases of Alzheimer's, most individuals still move normally when you look beyond the cognitive changes. Later, however, motor symptoms can emerge. Things like sudden muscle jerks, known as myoclonus, stiffness, or trembling. If these occur too early, it might suggest a different diagnosis, so it's crucial to talk to a professional. Eventually, some people may show reflexes typically seen in infancy, like grasp reflexes or experience incontinence. These late-stage changes can be distressing to both the individual and caregivers, as they add new layers of daily caregiving challenges. Decreased judgment can manifest in various ways. Falling for scams, mismanaging finances, or making questionable decisions can be early signs that something isn't right. Often, these behaviors stem from damage in the brain's frontal regions, which can lead to poor reasoning, reduced impulse control, and even a sudden lack of empathy. This is particularly common in frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, where the loss of empathy and social awareness can feel especially jarring to loved ones. A person who was once thoughtful and generous might abruptly become cold or self-absorbed, neglecting the feelings and needs of those around them. Recognizing these shifts and understanding their neurological basis can be crucial for providing the right care and support. Sleep disturbances. Sundowning is a term used to describe the increase in confusion, agitation, or anxiety that people with Alzheimer's disease often experience later in the day, usually in the late afternoon or early evening. As a result, sleep patterns can become irregular, with restlessness and difficulty falling asleep at night, followed by excessive drowsiness during the day. This phenomenon can be distressing both for the individual, who may feel a surge of anxiety or disorientation as daylight fades, and for caregivers who see their loved one become more unsettled and harder to soothe during these hours. Understanding sundowning and planning calming evening routines can make a significant difference in managing nighttime restlessness and maintaining a more stable daily rhythm. Atypical presentations. Not everyone with Alzheimer's follows the usual pattern of progressive memory loss. A smaller number have atypical forms, where the disease targets less expected areas of the brain first. For instance, in posterior cortical atrophy, people may struggle with visual tasks long before forgetting names or faces becomes an issue. They might see the eye doctor for difficulty reading or driving, never suspecting it could be connected to Alzheimer's. These uncommon presentations tend to show up in younger onset Alzheimer's, under 65, adding uncertainty and confusion at a time in life when dementia is often the last thing on anyone's mind. While getting older and carrying certain genes, like the ApoE4 gene, are major risk factors, research shows that about a third of dementia cases may be preventable through lifestyle choices. Exercise regularly, physical activity supports overall brain health. Mediterranean diet, incorporate more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats sources like nuts, seeds, avocado, and sources of the omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. Manage health conditions. Keep diabetes, hypertension, and cholesterol, especially LDL, under control. Do not drink alcohol, do not smoke, and maintain a healthy weight. Stay mentally and socially active. Engaging in mentally stimulating activities, such as puzzles, reading, or learning a new skill, helps keep your mind active and challenged. Hobbies, group activities, and social interactions can also help foster a sense of connection and purpose, which may improve mood and slow cognitive decline. Whether it's joining a book club, playing board games, or picking up a musical instrument, staying mentally and socially involved can support brain health and overall well-being. Prioritize sleep. Aim for 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep each night. What can you do today? If these symptoms sound familiar, don't wait. Speak with a healthcare professional about a cognitive evaluation. Early diagnosis can help you and your loved ones explore therapies that may slow disease progression and improve quality of life. Plus, you'll have more time to plan ahead and access supportive resources, everything from medical treatments to counseling and community programs. To conclude, Alzheimer's disease is about so much more than just memory loss. It's a complex condition that can affect your mood, behavior, and physical abilities. By understanding the early warning signs, distinguishing Alzheimer's from general dementia, and making proactive lifestyle changes, you can take real steps to protect your cognitive health. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share. And tell us in the comments, what strategies are you using to support your brain health? Further resources. For those interested in diving deeper, check out the pinned comment and the video description for links to scientific resources related to today's topic. Medical disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional for questions about your health. Have you or someone you know faced similar challenges? Please share your experiences, questions, or insights. In the comments below, your story could help others feel less alone and more informed. This is just the first video in our Alzheimer's and dementia series, so stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we'll dive deeper into risk factors, prevention strategies, and other forms of dementia. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on brain health and well-being. You never know which piece of information might truly be life-saving. Together, we can spread awareness, support one another, and keep this vital conversation going.